Good morning, everybody, and a very warm welcome to Mildenhall and Districts. And my name's Susanna, and I live with trains. And today, you join me at the back end of the layout, and I have a layout update for you around the layout. There's loads of bits and bobs that have happened since my last video. I think it's been quite a little while since I did the last layout update for you, and also there's some new arrivals and new bits and pieces to show you, and new scenery as well, which is what you're about to see first. So let me spin you around and let me show you what's been going on. So see you on the other side. So here we are at the return end at the bedroom, which is from the filler yard over in the far top left hand corner, comes back round and back into the layout towards St Anne's Station. And those of you who've been with me long enough will know that a lot has changed here, but you might not quite realise it at first glance. The first thing is this whole bottom end has been redone from about there all the way down to there. So some of you may remember, if not all of you, that have been watching me long enough will know that the dapole signal was about here, and then it kind of fed into this point here and then went along there, and then there was a bridge that went across here, and then afterwards it was just single line from about there all the way around. So now what I've done is I decided to smooth it all out and to make it not only look better but make more sense, because especially with like some of the longer trains and the aggregate trains, the freight trains in particular, it was just a bit kind of clunky, kind of coming around this corner and then into quite a sharp sort of point and then go into a single line, and I really wanted to smooth it out. So what I've done is I've basically smoothed it all out so it will run a lot better than what it did before and will look a lot better. And also, as you can see, I've now repositioned the signal. Thankfully, that one didn't break. Like I said, the original one that I bought was broken. So I was a bit mindful about unplugging that one, because those dapole signals, I find personally, is like, once you fit them, it's like just leave well enough alone. But I did have to move it because it made more sense to put the signal there, and it made it easier for the drivers to see it because it was on a straight piece of track rather than on this curve, which was quite tight, which is also a bit kind of clunky as well. It's kind of almost squeezed in to sort of try and shoehorn it in to fit. What you can't see also is I've bought a number of a pack of ratio poles, and I will show you them now. Now these were the original ones that I did, that I painted up with these brown ones. But I saw something, I was watching on YouTube, the Kent and East Sussex Railway, and I was watching their cab ride, and they were actually in grey. It was almost like these, so the wood was like really weathered and sun-beaten. So I thought, well, let me try some grey ones. So all of these are now grey, and so that's some of the stuff that I've been doing. So I bought a new pack of these. So I've been replacing the brown ones with the grey ones along here. As you can see, there's a load of stuff here in the middle. But what I'll do is I'll just remove all of this stuff here, because just so I can explain to you what's going to be happening. Now, at the moment, the road doesn't make any sense at all, because before the road used to have an out, as if to say like he used to cross the bridge and there was a road further down this way away from the layout, but now it doesn't really make any sense anymore. So the plan is to basically rework this area. So what I should have said at the very beginning of the video is that the Susanna's Come Build With Me is going to be delayed, so I can get on and do this work and try and finish the work on the main layout and then move on to that. So the idea is that bus stop will still remain and the buses can come down here, and we're going to reinstate a turning circle back round here, but we're going to keep the disused barn and everything, but we're just going to move the barriers across so they can still turn around. and then it go back up. And then what I'm planning on doing is I'll move you further across. Now, as you can see right at the very back, so you've got the bridge over here, and this is the fiddle yard on the left, and you can see I've got a load of point work here. Now I want to lift all of this point work up and take it out. I did put the double slip in there, which is quite expensive, and but I never really use it that much, primarily because it's actually quite awkward to get to and you have to sort of reach over. So what I wanted to do is I actually want to take all this point work out and straighten it out, so it's just two straight pieces of track, so there's no need for me to reach over in that area, and it will protect the signal, which is directly underneath, because otherwise if I reach over, there's a chance that I might damage this signal here. So I am going to put a bit of protection along here, but that's kind of one of the reasons why I want to do it. Also, what I want to do is, bear with me a minute, as you can see in this image, you've got a siding down the bottom here, and then you've got the fiddle yard at the back. Now what I want to do is I really want to I've always wanted to do it, to be honest. It's been on the cards for a little while, but I just haven't got around to doing it. Is I wanted to make a bigger village scene. So I'm contemplating, I haven't worked out the ins and outs of it, but I am contemplating putting a board on top. But what that means is I have to rework the track work and reconfigure it along here. Now what I want to do is these points that are here, this one here, I use spring-loaded points. This one hasn't got a spring to it, so it's always a bit of a pain. But I do have a spare point now that I've saved from elsewhere around the layout, so I'm going to reinstall that. But what I want to do is basically push, because I don't need the whole length of the fiddle yard, I'm going to push these points further back, and then I'm going to straighten the tracks and removing the point work that's further down. That's further down there. So, because there's some point work currently under the bridge and it's all a bit fiddly to get underneath it. So that's one of the reasons why I want to reconfigure it. So it's not going to be a huge change because the layout's essentially finished, but it's through the course of running the layout, I've realized that actually this is actually a bit awkward and I can actually make this run better, just like the track configuration that I've got going on here now, which you can see, which is a lot smoother. And actually, if you do it, go further back, you can see where the point is. So you can see that there's a curved point now, so it feeds into that. So it's a lot more of a smoother transition and it looks a lot better. And also another reason for taking a bridge out is for the sighting of the signal here. So the driver comes round and his view of the signal isn't going to be blocked by the bridge. And even before, the other signal was, I think it was just there where the concrete hut is, and that was partially blocked. So that was another reason for removing the bridge. So the idea is now to sort of extend the village scene along the top here, and also probably extend it all the way. So there won't be no track, it will just be a board with some, where the fiddle yard is, put another board around the back there on top, and then sort of almost marry it in with the bus station there. So I can have a bit of a village scene and buy some kits or whatever, and buy some buildings and create a roadway and everything like that. So if I take you down a bit, you can now see more down to track level. You can now see where I've sighted this distance signal. And if I just switch it on, you can now see that I've added the push button there. And you just press it. So it's now been mounted over there, which I think makes more sense. It probably needs another double home signal so you can work out whether you're going to platform 1 or 2. But for me, that's fine. It works, so I'm just happy enough that and I think it just makes more sense over there. As you can see from track level, you can see what I've done here, And I really do like this scene now. I think it looks really, really cool. I really like it like this now. And it gives the drivers a clear sighting of the signal. It's a nice scene to look at. And you can also see the telegraph poles. You can see the concrete hut. And I just think it's such a lovely scene. If you go from further down the line, you can really see how you can just have a really good view from the train coming around, and you're just really at track level, which I really, really like. So this whole kind of side piece here, which was overhanging, it's just like, it's now gone. So I just think to myself, that just looks so much nicer. And it's good for filming. You get some really nice views for filming. And actually, if I just zoom you out, that's right. Actually, you get a much better view of what's going on. And I'll give you a quickly slow pan round. I will probably get rid of some of these poles or redo them, some of the lighting here, because that pole's way too big. It's too thick. But you can see what it looks like around here. A slow pan round. I don't think I've ever done this before. And if I just go up, just so you can see all the way around there, which I think looks really, really nice, actually. One of the other things I've been up to this week is, you see in front of you the two 159 ends and the centre cars at the front, which is the motor end. So one of the things I have been doing with this is, I have sort of an intention of putting sound into this unit. But the thing being is just that you might be able to tell straight away that the unit on the right is the standard unit and the one on the left has been modified. And as you can see, I fitted a KD coupling into this. The reason being is that this coupling here is unfortunately a dummy coupling. It doesn't work. It doesn't move. It doesn't work. And even on the new ones, it doesn't work. The coupling doesn't work on the new ones. So what I've done is I've decided to modify it. And so I've now took out that coupling and super glued a pocket onto this. Now, the first time I did it, the pocket was too high. So I've now modified it so it's now sitting lower, so it fits more at the right height. I think it definitely couples up to my 20, so it's fine. But I do really need to get a KD. I was actually watching Charlie Chadwick yesterday and doing his freight yard, and he was showing about, he's got one of those KD height gauges, and I think I need one of those, to be honest. So I want to try and get one of those at some point. But this is just basically to allow me to either couple the two ends together to make a longer train, because South West Trains, although they do run 3-car units with their 159s, which they do often, but a lot of the time they do run them as either 6 or 9s, and sometimes they actually add the 158s to them. So, and the other thing I wanted to do is actually I wanted to be able to push and pull the cam truck around, but you can't do it with the 159 because it's got this coupling as standard, which is the one that comes with it. And like I said, even the new ones, they're fake as well. They don't work. So you have to sort of fit an NEM's pocket so you can fit whatever, whether it be a Hunts coupling or whether it be a KD or whether it be a tension lock, so you can fit it onto that so you can actually hook it up to another train. I decided to actually show you it on this because I was really impressed with like the view that you got from here. I thought it'd be quite nice to talk about it whilst you got some nice scenery to look at. So now I'm going to be doing the other side now, but I just wanted to, before I did it, I wanted to show you the difference. And if you sort of, now this particular 159, when I got it, was actually kind of molested anyway. It's already been opened up on a number of occasions. Now, as you can see, it's supposed to have a screw at that end and a screw at this end, but it doesn't. So basically the body is just a clip-on. So if I just zoom this out a little bit. So the body's basically a clip-on from this point, but if you've got one of these, then obviously look out for the screw at the top and the screw at the bottom, and then the body's clipped in. So then you can just unclip it and it comes out relatively easily. And then what I had to do is I tried to prize out the old coupling, but I didn't have much joy with that. So I ended up either dremeling it out or taking a scalpel to it, flattening it off, and then basically super glue a socket, a pocket, and an EM pocket, and then obviously you can put whatever coupling you want into it then. So what will mean is that when I get sound for it, it's then ready to go to be coupled up to the cam truck, and I can have the sounds of this particular unit behind the cam truck, so we can enjoy the sounds as it's doing a cab ride. So I do actually have something new to show you as well. I've got some new bits and pieces to show you. Now, I haven't finished with the layout update as such, but this is, like I said, because I'm really happy with the scenery that I'm looking at, I thought it's quite nice to show you the item with the nice scenery, rather than just me show it to you as I'm about to present it to you. Now, anyone who's subscribed or on Rails of Sheffield's mailing list will probably be almost sick and tired, to be truthful, or bombarded by their emails about all the various offers that they carry on having. Now, for me personally, I don't mind, but it's almost like dangling a carrot. It's like bait, and to come and spend money in our store. So I did. And it's been something I've been wanting to get for a little while. It's partially to do with, it's a new locomotive, so here it is. And I'll tell you what I'll do, is I'll tell you what it is, and then I'll stick it on the track, and then we can have a little chit chat about it and why I got it. So this is a Helgen BR Green Class 33-2, and it's D6591, and the item number is 3376. There it is. And I'll quickly show it to you. Like I said, in the packaging, you get the usual stuff from Helgen and stuff. And there it is in the box. Now I'll stick it on the track so we can see it nicely with the nice scenery, and then we can have a little chit chat about it. So give me a moment. So here is my brand new Class 33. BR green with the half yellow ends and the white surrounds. Now, me being a southern region person, I've seen a lot of these 33s around. They're mainly based in the south. And when I was train spotting in Kensington Olympia back in the early days, this is one of the many types of locomotives you used to see. Now, as I'm older, I have my layout. We do have the Watercress line here. And I have actually ridden behind a 33 before. I don't think we have a 33 here at the moment, but I've always liked this particular 33, the green one with the half yellow ends. I do actually like the green one with the full yellow ends as well, but Rails of Sheffield were doing a sale, and the ones that they were doing, this was one of them. And some of the second-hand stuff that you could get on eBay was not too far off this particular one, brand new. So it was a bit of a no-brainer. I'd rather just buy a brand new locomotive and it's fine, you know. Now, it doesn't actually have a decoder in it at the moment. And I've had this for a couple of weeks and I haven't got round to it, putting a decoder in it, just purely because of the time. But not only just time, but I've actually been doing a bit of research in putting sound into this, and I've been trying to work out what sound file I wanted to put into it. And also the Class 33 is also quite tricky just to put sound in anyway, because it is a bit tight, And so you have to work out the arrangement as to where you're going to put the sound and where you're going to put the speaker, more importantly, and which speaker you're going to use. So I've been doing a bit of research, so I've almost come up with what I want. And so at some point, this 33 will get a voice. I will actually show you a closer look from the side view in just a moment. So here's the side view of my 33. It's absolutely beautiful. I love it. This is one of the newer 33s that Helgen have done. So this is the 21-pin version, not the 8-pin version. And the other thing to note is that I'm hoping to go to the Swanage Diesel Gala in a few weeks' time. I think it's around the 9th, 10th and 11th or something like that. And I'm hoping to go to that. And I think they've got a 33 running behind that. So, and it is the green with the half yellow ends from what I believe. So I could be wrong, but I just love this 33. So it'll be part of my heritage line when I eventually come to building it. But also I can use it as rail tools and things. The only thing I'm not a fan of is I do wish that Helgen wouldn't put the buffer beam detail on both ends. It's been mentioned by numerous YouTubers before that it would just be nice just to have one end detailed and the other end with a tension lock, and then that way you don't have to go faffing around having to take all of this off in order to in order to fit a coupling in. But it's absolutely stunning. You can't fault it, and it runs really lovely. It runs really smooth, and I love it to bits. So you now find me further down the line, and we're at Goswell Sidings. Now the reason why we're here is over the course of running my layout, and like I said, the layout is virtually there. It's virtually built, and it's now running it and enjoying it and just tweaking it here and there to try and get the right balance to see what works properly and what doesn't, and changing bits and pieces here and there just to refine it. Now, one of the issues I was having is something to bear in mind. Well, it's probably more to do with me because of the way my layout's set up, as it runs pretty much around the whole flat. It's not like concentrated in a shed or in one room or anything like that. It has to cross quite a wide range, and I guess in track miles, scale miles, it's probably quite a lot. So one of the issues that I was having is, especially when I was using the phone, which is what I normally do when I'm on my own, either with the Wii Throttle or with the JMRI engine driver, I was sometimes losing connection to the locomotives. So I've been trying to sort of investigate why that might be the case. And so I've been experimenting a little bit. I was wondering whether it's to do with the voltage and whether it's, it's not enough power getting to the back end of the layout. Now, what it seems to be is it's to do with the LNWI. Now, the LNWI is for the Digitrack system, and that's like a separate router. So essentially, so the phone can communicate with the Digitrack system, which then in turn communicates with the train. And I had the LNWI box situated at the front end of the layout, which is essentially right underneath Mildenhall Riverside Station. And also I had the skirting dropped down because it was hidden by the skirting. And I was wondering that maybe if I repositioned the LNWI to somewhere more central, that I would get a better overall range for the LNWI signal to get to. So essentially, wherever I am in the flat, the signal should be strong enough to get around the whole flat. So that's what I've kind of been doing, because like I said, I was running some trains and occasionally I'd lose communication with the train, especially at the back end, in the bedroom end by the fill yard where it comes around. Now, since I've changed it and I've been playing with trains since, it does seem to have made a huge difference. That it's definitely, I think the signal was being blocked somewhere along the line. So now with Goswell siding is essentially in the middle. So it gives a much more even coverage for the signal and communication. So let me just quickly show you that. So here you can see is the repositioned LNWI box, and there's no skirting here, and it's in the middle of the flat. So it should give a much more even coverage around the flat for the communications and the signals. So that's where that is, and then it's connected to the back of this, to the UP5. So it's been running pretty good. So I've been pretty pleased. I think I've definitely noticed a difference, that the trains seem to be a lot more reliable doing it this way. So we'll just carry on like this and see how it goes, and see if there's any further improvements that I need to do, but I do believe that this is a better position for it. So here we are at the front end of the layout, and we're at the return loop at the other end. Now this is another area that's going to have a slight tweak to it. One of the main reasons for doing the tweaks to this one is it runs really well, don't get me wrong, but I think it can be improved. And one of the things I really want to try and get rid of is down at that far end there. There's a freeway point, and what happens is the train, just as at the back that I changed, it isn't smooth. It's very clunky because the point goes into one point and then goes around the curve and into another point. And this sometimes causes issues. Not often, but sometimes it does. And I just think it can be improved. So the idea is I'm going to now make this line here, the inner line, the single line, and this outer side, I'm going to redo this outer section here. And that module that I had over there that used to plug in with the nuclear flask terminal will now be resited over here, and I'll reuse everything from there. So none of that will go to waste, because essentially the new heritage line will now be going along there, so I won't have anywhere to put it. But I could probably put the nuclear flask terminal in this little stretch down this side over here, and have a straight piece of track that will just go all the way down, and that will save any issues in terms of trains coming in and then sort of being really clunky to get around that corner. So it'll be a lot more smoother transition. And then at this bottom end, I will then split it probably with a curved point to feed it onto the outer line. So again, it's a smoother transition going onto this line, rather than have the clunkiness of having this point going in and then back out. It works, don't get me wrong, and I don't really have too many issues with it, but I think it could be improved. So that's kind of, again, another little bit that I'm going to be tweaking just to improve that. And what I'll do is I'll give you a little closer look at that as well. So here is a great bird's eye view of what I mean. You've got this line here coming out, and it feeds into this freeway point, and then it just goes round and into this point here, which, like I said, I think is just, if I just get rid of this freeway point and just have it a straight line through, there isn't going to be any issues for this clunkiness with this bit just sort of coming here, and I can make better use of this little section here, and that will probably go over there, which is where we're going to next. And I think this will generally overall be a much smoother run and a smoother transition. Now, I haven't really shown this to you properly, although I did sort of show it to you sort of briefly in a cab ride video, that this is my little breakdown scene. And the reason why I'm showing it to you from this angle is I just wanted to show you these two buttons here, because this side, you can see there's a join there. Now this is where the main layout unplugs, so any access to the ceiling panels can be accessed. So therefore, that's why these two switches are on this side as opposed with the rest of the switches over on the other side, because this is like on a separate system. So therefore, this side doesn't interfere with that side. So when I need to separate the right hand side, there isn't going to be additional wiring for me to unplug. So this side on the right is still all self-contained, which is why the switches are on the left. So even if I unplug the right side, the switches still wouldn't be affected. But I just wanted to show you how it worked. And then you've got the little light there just to show it to you. So we'll just give you a quick little closer look at that. So there's my little breakdown scene. We've got the mechanic there fixing the back end of the bus, and he's got his little van there. He's got the recovery truck there because it looks like it's going to have to be towed. And the LEDs on that breakdown I got from eBay. I bought it as completely, when I bought the tow truck, it was already pre-fitted with all the LEDs and everything's all singing and dancing. So I didn't fit them, in case anyone's asking how I fitted it or what I used to fit it. I didn't actually do it. I actually bought the recovery truck with the working LEDs, and all I had to do was plug it into the existing system. And that actually runs off of, I believe it's 3 volts, actually, that is. So, yeah, so that works lovely, which is going to lead us nicely on to the last section of the video. So welcome back to the final part of the video, and I've got a couple of other bits I wanted to show you. Now, one was totally spontaneous and the other one wasn't. So this first bit wasn't necessarily spontaneous, but ever since I put the recovery truck back on the layout and had the working lights going, it got me thinking about adding some more lighting effects to the layout. Now, the layout as a whole is pretty well covered by lighting on its own, and without needing additional lighting to help it. It looks really good at night, I believe. It's got some really nice lighting effects, and it's now, like I said, because now the layout is not too far off done, it's pretty much there. A lot of it is just about tweaking it and improving it and adding little odd bits and pieces here and there just to give it that little bit of extra detail. And one of those things that's been on my mind, it's to do with this police car that I have. It's a Range Rover Oxford diecast police car. There it is. Now, I've had this for quite a while, and I knew that people add LED lighting and stuff like that to their vehicles. In fact, Tony Northeastern added one to his fire engine not so long ago. And I saw a video on YouTube, and I believe it's from Traintek themselves direct as opposed to a YouTuber. And there's this product called a Traintek SL30. And this is it. And it is a smart light emergency vehicle LED light. And you can have it with blue lights, or you can, if you short it or something, you can make it have alternate red and red and blue lights. So I thought I'd give this a go. It cost me about £15. And the idea is to put it into this little Range Rover and plug it in. And apparently it runs on, I think it's anywhere between 9 and 12 volts. I think it says 9 and 16 volts. It says 9 to 16 volts DC. But I'd go with the lower end, and we'll see how we come out with that and see how that fits into that. So I'm quite looking forward to doing that. And I went to go and get it on Thursday. Now, this next product that I'm about to show you, as soon as I went to see Terry to go and get this, and as soon as I popped into his shop, opened the door, he's basically got a rack. When you walk in the door, there's almost like a rack directly in front of you where he puts a load of products, obviously, and a lot of it is vehicles. And as soon as I saw this vehicle, I went, right, that's coming home with me. It was just one of those, no quibble. As soon as I saw it, I wasn't going there to get it because I didn't even know it was out. I didn't even know there was one available. But as soon as I saw it, I was just like, I am having that. And let me show you what it was. Now, I don't normally get excited about this kind of thing, But this is one of those products that really will enhance the layout, especially if you have a town scene, because, or even a village scene even, because it's just one of those vehicles that I've been waiting for a very, very long time, because it makes such a big difference. And this is the new release, very, very new release. It's only been out, I think, about a week, if that. And it is the new Biffa dust cart. Now, that just looks absolutely awesome. Now, sometimes you get images that they put up to show you what it's going to be, like an artist's impression or whatever, or the artwork for the, and sometimes it just doesn't do it justice. But as soon as I opened the door and I saw this, I mean, look how vibrant that is. That is just, I mean, I know it's a dust cart, but to get something like this that's so modern is just like, you know, to get a modern dust cart. I've been after a modern dust cart for ages, and you just cannot get them for love nor money. They're just really difficult to get hold of. And if I've got to show it to you like this. And actually, let me see if I can take it out. So bear with me a second. That literally was a second. Sometimes you try and open these Oxford die cast things and they've like got these clips on the end and they just take forever to get off and you end up breaking them. Let's just show it to you in all its glory. This is absolutely exquisite. Now, it cost me £30, but I'm not going to argue with that because the detail is just absolutely amazing. It is so vibrant. It's so beautiful. It's an Alexander Dennis dust cart and it looks absolutely amazing. It really is. If you've got a modern image layout and you've got like a town scene or a village scene, it's just so beautiful, honestly. And the back is just really well done as well. I love the back as well. That just looks so cool. It really does. Well worth the money. Like I said, I think I bought it because I think it was just a colour that was just like literally just pinged out at me. And when I got to work, because like I said, Terry's literally round the corner from where I work, so I was actually on my way to work, and I thought, well, whilst I'm on my way to work, I'll pop in and see Terry to go and get this Traintech light. And as soon as I saw this vibrant red dust cart, it just looked absolutely awesome. It really does. I mean, compared to my 66, I mean, my 66 just is not like that at all. It's more orange than it is red. And but I do have the Biffa 66 actually. Let me go and get it for you just to show you. So this is my Biffa Class 66 783, the Flying Dustman. This one's actually sound fitted. But you can see that this is nowhere, this is more like an orange as opposed to a red. There's more of an orange hue to this one. Whereas as you can see with the dust cart, it's definitely red. But yeah, that's cool. So that's my 66 in the Biffa colours. So let me just carry on with my little story because there's actually more to this. When I got this from Terry, I just literally picked it up, paid for it, and went straight back to the depot, which is only literally 2 minutes around the corner from the actual store. I parked the car up, and I had a little bit of time before I was due to start my shift, and I was chatting to Alan about, well, among other things, about what I'd actually got. And I'd actually told him that I'd got this Biffa 66 and how impressed I was and how exquisite it looked. And hopefully he'll agree that actually looks totally exquisite. And just as I was chatting to him, a Biffa dust cart literally pulled past me. As I was talking to Alan, explaining to him about the Biffa dust cart, and I'm going, Alan, look, you never guess what? It's just like there's a Biffa dust cart that's just literally just pulled up past me. What are the chances? And I'm going to show you some photographs because I took 3 still photographs of the actual Biffa dust cart that I actually saw whilst I was talking to Alan. And just so you can actually see for yourself what the real one looks like. And I actually got out the car took my model with me, and I don't know how crazy that this dust cart driver thought I was, but I asked him, I said to him, would you mind if I took some photographs of your dust cart? Excuse me. Because I've actually got this model, and I showed him the model, and he was like really impressed. He's like, oh wow, that looks really nice. And I asked him a few questions, and this particular dust cart is on a 16 plate. Now, 16 plate is now what? Is it 8 years old? Let's see, 16.4. It's about 8 years old, I think. So the one that he had was a Mercedes one. So that's what you're going to see. You're going to see the Mercedes version. And he was telling me that a lot of them that they use now a lot of them are Mercedes. They do still use the Alexander Dennis's, which is what this one is. It's an Alexander Dennis dust cart. And he was telling me that they tend to use these ones for the household waste. And then for the business side of things, they tend to use the Mercedes versions. But I think the chassis is the same, it's just with a different body. That was my understanding of it. Whether that's 100% correct or not, I can't quite remember, but I think that's what you said to me. So it was nice just to sort of in fact, I should have just taken a quick little clip, to be honest, of it, and just to show it to you. Because it had the beacons going, and you will see the beacons in the still shots. So I'm going to show you the still shots to finish. So I'm going to leave you with those still shots. And I'm sorry if this video has been a bit too long. Hopefully you'll understand. And until the next time, it's goodbye from Mildenhall District. My name is Susanna, and I live with trains. Bye-bye.